Hi, I'm Sam, and this is Sam Says. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Witching Hour. Witching Hour is published by Indie Boards and Cards and is for 2 to 5 players. And Witching Hour plays in about a half an hour or so. In Witching Hour, everybody is going to be dealt a certain number of cards based on the number of players. All the cards typically are going to have a different symbol on them. In addition, they're going to have an ability. On your turn, you are going to be attacking other players or playing a card from your hand. The goal is to take as few cards into your hex pile, which is going to be the cards underneath your specific color of hex, as possible. You do not want to score points in this game. The lowest score is going to win at the end of 3 rounds. With these cards that all have symbols, if you're going to choose to attack your opponent, you're going to group together cards with the same symbols on it to attack them. So let's say I had 5 cards all with the bell symbol, and I chose to attack my opponent with 5 bells. So I'm going to attack them. They have the opportunity to defend. In order to defend an attack, they would have to discard 5 cards of the same symbol. Not necessarily a bell, but any other type of card that are all going to be the same symbol they can defend with. There are other abilities that allow them to defend as well that are specific on the card. If they are unable or unwilling to defend the attack, then those cards that I attacked them with are going to go face down into their hex pile. Now that's bad because cards are going to be worth points. So in this instance, I brought up the bell. Each card at the bottom has point values. So starting off, it has a 1 point value for this bell. That means if at the end of the round I have 1 bell in my hex pile, it is worth 1 point. If I have 2 cards, 2 points. 3 is 3, 4 is 5, and anything 5 or more is going to be worth 8 points. So it doesn't matter if I have every single bell, it's only going to be worth 8 points. But up until that point, I'm going to score up based off of the number below. Everyone is going to be going around the table, playing cards, attacking, or performing the abilities on their cards, and the game is going to continue until only one person has cards left in their hand. As soon as a player runs out of cards, they are no longer eligible to be targeted with an attack. Because that just wouldn't be fair to attack someone with 6 cards when they don't have any to defend with. That would stink. So they are not able to be attacked. However, you can still play cards that will affect them with abilities. You play until only one person has cards left, and that one unfortunate person with cards still left in their hand has to put all of the cards in their hand into their hex pile. Now, a lot of these cards have some pretty unique and pretty cool abilities. The mirror allows you to defend an attack, but reflect the attack back onto the attacker. So if you attack someone with that has mirrors to defend you, then you actually have to defend your own attack, which is pretty cool. Bells can only be used to attack, they can't be used to defend. And then some of the cards that will say play on them, which are not going to be as part of an attack, or just cards that you play for their abilities, are interesting. Like the chalice, so you can play the chalice into any player's hex pile, including your own. Why that's cool is the hex by itself is -3 victory points if it is in your, or -3 points, I suppose it's not victory points because you don't want them. -3 if it's in your hex pile. But if you get a second one, instead of being really good for you, it's actually worth a point. And if you get a third one, all of a sudden, it's 5 points. So I could use this, if it were in my hand, to play as its playability. So I just, play it into anybody's discard pile. Or I could use it as part of an attack. So let's say I had 4 chalices and I wanted to attack somebody. I could attack them with 4 chalices. So it gives you a lot of versatility in what you want to do. And that is basically the game. At the end of the round, you're going to tally how many points you had, and you're going to be taking these little cardboard chits, and then you place them face down, so that unless someone's paying really close attention after each round, no one's going to know exactly how many points you've taken, because they're different varying values. So they're all the same size. There's 3s, 1s, 10s, 25s, and so it kind of keeps some secret information about how many points that you have. So let's talk about the game. It's very simple. It's really not hard to teach, which makes it a very easy game to get into, and it doesn't take that long to play. Personally, for my thoughts and feelings on the actual game, I think it overstays its welcome a little bit. I just find that about midway through the third round, it's just kind of you're doing the same thing over and over and over, which is okay. I just found that I think maybe after 2 rounds it would probably be good, but you kind of need the third round to make sure everything equals out, and part of that is because there is no card mitigation. If you are dealt a bad hand, you're probably going to take a lot of points, and there's not much that you can do about it. You can try and do your best to strategically play your cards and know, which ones to defend and which ones not to, because you're going to take a bunch of points. So if I'm going to take, I'll take a 4 bell attack and only take, 3 or 5 points, that's okay. But no way am I going to take an attack from these cards, which are going to be, 8 points against me. I don't want to do that. So really picking and choosing your battles. You can strategically make your way through the game, knowing that you're going to be taking points and just kind of choosing which points to take and which not to. But there is no mitigation. If you get a bad hand, you get a bad hand. And so it's very possible to lose the game just because of the cards that you were dealt. And there's not much you can do about it. I tend to have a hard time with those types of games. I think this would be a good game to play with maybe some teenagers, where it gives you a little bit of not really mean player interaction, but kind of some fun, I'm, casting this spell at you and throwing 6 bells, take that. And it can be kind of fun for that age group, where they can get some of the experiences that you might get in a larger game, but still a smaller gameplay time, only about a half an hour, and not too complex. I think this would be good for that age group. I think if you are going to take this to a game night full of serious gamers, you're going to have some disappointed gamers. The game is okay. I really didn't enjoy it for myself. I won't play this game again, not because it's terrible, it didn't speak to me in my personal preference. So, what worked and what didn't work? Let's start with what didn't work. For me, it was 2 things. It was first that you have really no way to mitigate the cards in your hand. I think maybe this game could have benefited from a hearts-like mechanic, where you're dealt your cards and then maybe you can choose 3 to pass to the player on your left, and then switch it, maybe pass left, then pass across, then pass right, something to that effect. I think this game could have benefited from. I think that really could increase at least my appreciation of the game. But in addition, and I don't know, I got this from Indie Boards and Cards. This was one of their demo copies. But some of these cards, I think they did a linen finish on them, and they are chipping at the corners. It's pretty bad. And I'm not a wild crazy shuffler. I do kind of like the Vegas style. I don't do the bridge. I have a hard time dealing with that because I like to keep my cards in the best structural shape. I'm a little bit OCD that way. But these cards are chipping all over the place, and I have speed cloth underneath my table, which is where I play most of my games on, and it was just chipping off and leaving flakes and stuff of bits of cards that were doing there. It made them hard to shuffle as well. So as far as component quality, the hex things they're perfectly good. I actually like the vibrant colors on them, and the cardboard chits are fine as well. But the cards, not great on the cards. But what worked? So what worked in this game is I really like all of the unique abilities. So unique abilities make it really fun. I like the fact that I can have these bells and I can only use the bells to attack, and the mirrors that I can, kind of surprise somebody and pull a mirror out and like, ha! You chose to attack me, now you have to defend your own attack. Shouldn't have used all 6 bells, huh? It just kind of makes for some fun interactions, and some of the play cards really do unique stuff with being able to manipulate with the discard pile. And it's fun because your hex pile is face down, and so you don't ever see what's in it. So if someone puts a card in your hex pile, there are some abilities that you don't get to see what that card is. And sometimes you'll randomly put cards in your discard pile, like from playing a toadstool. So it's kind of fun as you're going through and doing that, and I enjoyed that aspect of the game. In addition, it does give you reference cards, so that every player can have a reference, so you know exactly a more detailed description on the abilities of each card. But that's it. That's Witching Hour from Indie Boards and Cards. If you have some teenagers that you think would like that, pick it up. It's definitely worth a play. So, that was it. I'm Sam. This is Sam Says. If you'd like to, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button wherever it may be, probably below the video. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And if you have any games that you'd like to see me review, let me know. I would love to be able to take a look at any game that you would like me to. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.